If your house didn't smell like this on Sundays, you were missing out. The good news is your house can smell like Sunday sauce, and it's way easier than you think. This sauce has a few simple ingredients. The meat cooks with the sauce and gives a deep, rich flavor. It's amazing how complex this flavor could be with just a few simple ingredients. I call this one a simple Sunday sauce because it's just a few ingredients and no meatballs. First, the onion. Take one large onion and give it a good chop. A nice loose chop is fine. Next, we're going to dice the garlic. We love garlic in our house, so I have about 8 cloves here for this sauce. You can use more or less, but don't skip it. It really makes the sauce. In a sauce pot with some olive oil on low-medium heat, let the onions and garlic sweat down. Then, you're going to add your meats to the pot. Today we're using some pork chops cut up so they fit nicely in the pot and some Italian sausage. For the pork, keep all the bones and fat as they will add great flavor to the sauce. So with the meat and garlic and onions browning behind me, I'm going to go ahead and open up these tomatoes. For the tomatoes, I'm using 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. After all the meat is browned up, I'm going to add both cans of tomatoes to the pot. We don't want to waste any of the tomatoes in the can, so carefully I'll add a half a can of water to each can to get out all the rest of the stuck tomatoes. This is also important because we need some extra water in the pot to account for evaporation during the cooking. Okay, sauce definitely needs basil, so we're going to use frozen basil from our garden from this summer. If you don't have frozen basil, go to the grocery store. They always sell some fresh basil. You need fresh basil. Don't use anything dried. So I'm going to crush up some of this. Now the secret is I want to put in some basil now so it marinates in with the sauce, and then I'm going to add some basil again at the end to layer that basil flavor. Next, I'm going to add some salt and pepper. For now, I'm going to start with about a tablespoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. We'll test again later to see if we need to adjust and add more, but for now we're going to start here. Always take into account if your tomatoes had salt or not, as this will affect the total salt to add. Remember, it is always easier to add something than to take it out, so add incrementally. All right, so the sauce is behind me, cooking on a low-medium heat. We're going to let that cook for about an hour. The sauce smells absolutely amazing. It's been about an hour. So next, in order to cut some of the acid, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Now, I know some families are against doing this, and a lot of people don't like putting sugar in their pasta, but I think it gives a really nice taste. It balances everything out, and it cuts that acid. All right, so it's been about 2 hours. Let's give this a taste and see if there's anything else that's needed. Wow. I think it's perfect. I'm not going to add any more salt or pepper. I think it's seasoned perfectly. So we're going to stop here. The last step, I want to add a little bit more basil. So I'm going to call it and say that we're good here. Sauce smells and tastes delicious. Let's put on some pasta and give this a nice taste. In a boiling pot of salted water, we will cook the pasta. Remember to always salt your water when cooking pasta. While the pasta is cooking, we can pull out the meat from our sauce. I like to serve this on the table and let everyone take what they like during dinner. Time to dress the pasta. With some of the sauce in the bottom of a bowl, we'll pull out the pasta with some tongs. You can drain the pasta, but no need to, as some of the water from the pasta helps bring everything together. If you do strain the pasta, reserve a bit of water to mix into the bowl. Add more sauce, mix well, making sure all the pasta has a nice coat of sauce, and get ready to plate. Add the pasta to your bowls and add a generous amount of sauce on top. Remember, the sauce is the star of this dinner. Then you can add some meat on the side, and also I'm going to add some Pecorino Romano cheese on top for a final touch. This is it. Smells like Sunday in this house. Let's give it a taste. The spaghetti, top of the little Pecorino Romano cheese, a beautiful Sunday sauce. Tastes like Sunday too. The meat, let's taste that. Just the pork just rips right apart. The pork is fantastic, very soft, soaked up the flavor of the sauce. The sauce soaked up the flavor of the pork. Little piece of sausage here. Everything is so tender, so delicious. And the pasta, man, it's really hard to explain. You have to try it for yourself. I had somebody pop over earlier, and all they said was, your house smells fantastic. Try this yourself. You're going to love it. Join us next time on Real Plates, Real Life. Appreciate the support. Subscribe, and we'll see you soon. That is so good.